Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to everyone. Hindi namin alam kung anong oras nyo pinapanood to or kung pinapanood nyo ba talaga. Okay, this is the first online video lesson. This is powered by Mathematics Department. So I'm Miss Jasmine Engay, and for today, we will be discussing conducting hypothesis testing, understanding hypothesis testing. So specifically, umpisahan natin siya sa elements of hypothesis testing. But this is very important, especially for the next topic. You will run a 6 or 7-step hypothesis testing. So, pag may na-miss kayong terms, words, chances are you'll get confused. So, you should listen carefully and understand the concept. Okay, let us first understand what is hypothesis testing. Okay, have you ever wondered what makes a farmer decide when to plant a crop, for example? Okay, kailan nga ba nagtatanim ang magsasaka? Okay, syempre hindi yan magtatanim ng tag-ulan. Okay, another factor would be the type of soil. Okay, so in short, marami siyang tinitingnang reasons para makapagtanim. Okay, also, what makes our government decide to finally impose ECQ or the Enhanced Community Quarantine? Okay, siguro dahil sa dumadaming cases ng COVID-19 sa Pilipinas, kaya pinatupad. Okay, kung mapansin nyo, on both question, okay, nagkaroon ng observation. Okay, and if you have observation, magkakaroon ka ng claim. Okay, for example, dun sa magsasaka. Okay, yung magsasaka, ang claim niya, for example, mas magiging mabunga yung kanyang pananim kapag tinanim niya ng tag-araw. Okay, yun yung claim niya. And if he wants to know if yung claim niya ay totoo, dun ngayon papasok si hypothesis testing. Why? Okay, because based on the definition of hypothesis testing, okay, hypothesis testing is a decision-making process for evaluating claims, okay, about a population based on the characteristic of the sample coming from that population. So the decision is whether the characteristic is acceptable or not. Okay, again, kapag gusto nating i-test whether yung claim natin can be acceptable or not, okay, dun papasok si hypothesis testing. So again, hypothesis testing is a decision-making process for evaluating claims. Okay, now there are two types of hypothesis. Okay, the first type of hypothesis is the null hypothesis. Okay, what is a null hypothesis? Null hypothesis is a statement that there is no significant difference between population parameter and the value that is being claimed. Okay, ano pong ibig sabihin nun? The best illustration siguro ay kung ikaw ay judge at mayroong isang accused, for example, i-assume mo na yung accused, kung ikaw ay judge, i-assume mo, i-presume mo na yung accused ay walang kasalanan. Or, in short, okay, para mas madaling maintindihan, kapag null hypothesis, ina-assume natin that the claim is true. Okay, yung claim mo ay totoo. Okay, sabi din dyan that the null hypothesis, it is the hypothesis to be tested. Kaya nga, sa last part ng hypothesis testing natin, it is a 7-step hypothesis testing. Sa last part, ang nagiging decision lang natin doon, nagiging statement natin sa decision, is whether we reject the null hypothesis or we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Ang basis natin palagi is the null hypothesis. Now, kailan lang po papasok si alternative hypothesis? Alternative hypothesis is our second type of hypothesis. So, sabi dyan, it is a statement saying that there is a significant difference between population parameter and the value that is being claimed. Kung mapapansin nyo, based on the definition of null and alternative hypothesis, okay, they are two opposing hypotheses. Okay, si alternative hypothesis kasi, magiging true lang siya. So, this statement will be true once the null hypothesis is rejected. Okay, so again, we have two types of hypothesis. We have the null and the alternative hypothesis. By the way, this is the symbol for null hypothesis. This is H sub 0 or H null. And we have the symbol for alternative hypothesis, H sub A. So, yun yung gagamitin natin sa mga susunod nating discussion. Okay, para mas maintindihan natin ang null and alternative hypothesis, meron tayong samples. Okay, so this is formulating hypothesis. So, gagawin natin dito, meron tayong given problem, and then gagawa natin siya ng null and ng alternative hypothesis. By the way, just a heads up, formulating null and alternative hypothesis is the first step dun sa ating 7-step hypothesis testing. Okay, so tingnan natin, meron tayo ditong given problem. This is bottled fruit juice content. Okay, the owner of the factory that sells a particular bottled fruit juice claims that the average capacity of the bottle of their product is 250 ml. So, is the claim true? Okay, sabi dyan, to test the claim, the members of the consumer group did the following. Okay, number 1, they get the sample of 100 such bottle. Okay, number 2, they calculated the capacity of each bottle. They compared the sample mean and the claim. Okay, kung mapapansin nyo, ang ating basis dito or ang ating parameter is the average. Okay, the average capacity. Okay, and then, yun ang kanilang kiniklaim. Okay, sabi natin sa definition natin kanina ng null hypothesis. Sa null hypothesis, ina-assume po natin na yung claim natin palagi ay totoo. Okay, therefore, ang null natin can be, null is the bottle drinks contain 200 ml per bottle. Okay. Okay, again, why? Kasi yun po yung kinlaim nila. So, they are claiming that their product is at 250 ml. So, yun yung naging null hypothesis natin. Paano si alternative? Sabi natin kanina, they are opposing hypothesis. Okay, so yung magiging alternative hypothesis natin for this given problem is the bottled drinks do not contain 250 ml. Okay, by the way, si null at si alternative hypothesis, pwede po natin siya isulat in words, pwede rin po natin siya isulat into symbol. So, kapag in symbol, okay, magiging itsura na, mean, that is the average, is equals to 250 ml, while the alternative hypothesis will be mean is not equal to 250 ml. Okay, in other cases, in other instance, okay, in some cases, pwede rin siyang isulat as mean is equals to mu sub 1. And then, alternative is mean or the mu is not equal to mu sub 1. Okay. Okay, a question for the previous example. Okay, bakit kaya yung ating alternative hypothesis, ang ginamit natin is mean or mu is not equal to 250 ml? Okay, another question, sa alternative hypothesis ba not equal lang yung pwede nating gamiting symbol? Kasi knowing the definition of null hypothesis, kasi null hypothesis, we always assume that yung claim natin is true. Kaya, ang gagamitin natin is equal sign. But, kapag alternative, not equal lang ba yung pwede natin gamitin symbol? Okay, yung answer muna dun sa question natin na bakit ito yung ginamit natin, bakit not equal lang ginamit natin dun sa previous example. Kaya ang reason, because the consumer group is not interested in getting the mean greater than 250 or sample mean less than 250. Ibig sabihin, hindi indicated dun sa problem kung greater than or less than 250 ml ba yung kanilang gustong matest or gustong makuha. Okay, if that's the case, okay, dun papasok ngayon yung ating types of alternative hypothesis. Okay, sabi dyan, when the alternative hypothesis utilizes the symbol not equal, the test is to be non-directional. While when the alternative hypothesis utilizes the symbol greater than or less than, the test is said to be directional. Now, kung meron tayong tinatawag na non-directional at directional, okay, this is sa alternative hypothesis na po tayo nakafocus. Okay, kung meron tayong tinatawag na non-directional and directional, at sabi natin, base sa symbol na gagamitin para malaman natin kung anong test siya, question, kailan natin gagamitin si not equal, kailan natin gagamitin si greater than, at kailan natin gagamitin si less than as our alternative hypothesis. Okay, sabi dyan, in problems that involve hypothesis testing, there are words like greater, efficient, improves, effective, increase, and so on that suggest a right-tailed direction in the formulation of the alternative hypothesis. Words like decrease, less than, smaller, and the like suggest a left-tailed direction. Ibig sabihin, kapag may mga terms tayo that suggest, kagaya nito, greater than, efficient, improves, effective, ang gagamitin natin na symbol is greater than. Okay? Ang gagamitin natin na symbol is greater than. Okay. But if we have words or key terms like decrease, less than, smaller, and the like, okay, it suggests that we will use a left-tailed direction or the less than sign. Now, kailan po magiging not equal? Magiging not equal siya kung, kagaya ng example natin kanina, hindi siya interested, okay, sa direction, whether greater than or less than. Okay, tatlo yung possible na gagamitin natin for sa mga upcoming examples natin. So, gagamitin natin as our alternative is not equal, greater than, or less than. Okay, kapag greater than, that is a right tail direction. Kapag less than, that is a left tail direction. Kailan po natin malalaman kung ano yung gagamitin na symbol? Depende sa problem na may encounter natin. Another example in writing null and alternative hypothesis. So, meron ulit tayo ditong given problem. Okay, the farmer believes that using organic fertilizers on his plants will yield greater income. Okay, his average income for the past was 200,000 pesos per year. So, we have to state the hypothesis in symbol. So, gagamitin lang po natin in this case is symbol. Okay. Ang null natin dito, again, kapag null, na-assume natin that yung claim is true. So, the claim is always equal. So, the mean, that is our parameter. Okay, 200,000. So, mean is equals to 200,000. That is our null. And the alternative is mean is greater than 200,000. Okay, reason because we have this praise. Okay, meron tayo ditong praise that will yield greater income. Okay, so the praise greater income is associated with greater than direction. Meaning, in this case, we have a right tail direction. Okay, another example in writing null and alternative hypothesis. Okay, again, writing null and alternative hypothesis is the first step in the 7-step hypothesis testing. So, kailangan ma-practice niyo ito. Okay, given the problem, the manager of a TV station claims that the mean number of people watching their new sitcom in Manila is 500,000 each day. Okay, a student researcher who wants statistical evidence on this claim conducted her own survey. Her survey resulted to a mean of 499,995 using a 0.05 significance level. Okay, so again, ang kiniklaim natin is that yung TV station, meron silang 500,000 na audience, o manonood sa loob ng isang araw. Therefore, ang null natin, mean or mu is equals to 500,000. How about the alternative? So, in this case, okay, ang situation, okay, kiniklaim ay 500,000. Pero merong isang researcher na nag-conduct ng survey which is nag-result sa 499,995. Therefore, ang magiging alternative hypothesis natin for this example is that mean is less than 500,000. Okay, so alam na natin how to formulate a null and alternative hypothesis. So, on this time, ang gagawin naman natin or discuss natin is the sketches of directional and non-directional test. So, one-tailed and two-tailed test. Titignan natin ano yung magiging itsura ng normal curve natin. Okay, kapag siya ay one-tailed and pag siya ay two-tailed. Okay, so again, recall natin that a non-directional test is also called a two-tailed test, while a directional test may be either left-tailed or a right-tailed. Okay, so mapansin nyo, ito po yung magiging itsura ng ating normal curve. Okay, so yung first po natin na normal curve, that is a two-tailed. Okay, again, ginagamit po natin na symbol kapag two-tailed is not equal. And if we have left-tailed, ang ginagamit po natin symbol is the less than symbol. And if it is right-tailed, ang ginagamit po natin is greater than symbol. Okay, kung mapapansin nyo din, meron dyang division, meron dyang mga line. Okay, yan po ay tinatawag natin, okay, yung shaded part, ang tawag natin dyan, class, is the rejection region. Okay, so now, ano yung magdedetermine sa rejection region? Ang magdedetermine po dyan is the critical value. Okay, so again, malalaman natin yung rejection region depende sa critical value. Okay, so in the next video that will be discussed by Miss Daja, you will learn how to compute the critical value. But to give you heads up, ganito yung mangyayari. Okay, so again, ito yung rejection region. Okay, we have here the rejection region. Yan po yung shaded part natin. Then the critical value, for example, we have here the critical value, negative 1.96. Okay, ganito yung mangyayari. Bigyan ko kayo ng heads up. Okay, so for example, okay, ang critical value natin is at negative 1.96. So, gawin natin example tong left-tailed. Okay, kung mapansin nyo, class, kapag ka left-tailed, ang shaded part o ang rejection region niya is nasa left side. While kapag right-tailed, ang rejection region niya nasa kanan. And if it is two-tailed, okay, dalawa yung magiging rejection region niya na part. Okay, so, balikan natin to. For example, ang critical value nyo is at negative 1.96. Again, malalaman nyo po how to compute the critical value dun sa next video. Di-discuss po yan ni Ms. Daja. Okay, we have negative 1.96 as our critical value. And, okay, for example, sa mga susunod po kasi na video na mga panood nyo, you have different test statistics na gagamitin. Okay, since meron kayong test statistics, magko-compute kayo. Okay, if you compute, for example, okay, na-compute nyo is 2.0. That is your computed stat. Negative 2.0. Okay, since ang computed stat nyo is at negative 2.0, okay, at pag titingnan nyo, ang critical value nyo is at negative 1.96. Si negative 2.0 po, magfo-fall siya sa rejection region. Okay, kasi si negative 2.0, makikita nyo siya dito. Negative 2. Negative 2.0. Since nasa rejection region, yung na-compute nyo na test stat, kaya magiging decision nyo dyan is you have to reject your null hypothesis. Okay, that's how critical value and the rejection region works. Okay, so we have the critical value and then the rejection region. Ganito po yung magiging itsura ng ating sketches ng ating normal curve kapag siya ay two-tailed, kapag siya ay left-tailed, and kapag siya ay right-tailed. Next natin yung discuss is the level of significance. So what is level of significance? Level of significance is the probability that the test statistic would fall in the rejection region when in fact the null hypothesis is actually true. Ibig sabihin, ano daw yung probability na magkaroon tayo ng error? Okay, actually, there are two types of error that is denoted by alpha and beta. Okay, in this case, this is a type 1 error. This is denoted by alpha. Okay, again, this is the probability that the rejection region that it will fall in the rejection region when in fact it is true. So yung two types of error po ay madidiscuss sa next video. Didiscuss siya ni Miss Dadsa. Okay, so let us focus in understanding the significance level muna and the confidence level. Okay, sabi dyan, nung dalawang nag-chismisan, alpha corresponds to the rejection region, while 1 minus alpha corresponds to the area of the curve occupied by a non-rejection region. Okay, kung mapapansin nyo din dito, class, na yung alpha natin, dinivide natin sa 2. Okay, dinivide natin yan sa 2 kasi meron tayong two-tailed. Okay? But if it is just right-tailed or left-tailed, hindi natin kailangan i-divide yung ating alpha. Okay, tingnan natin. So again, alpha corresponds to the rejection region. 1 minus alpha corresponds to the non-rejection region or the acceptance region. Okay, so sabi dyan, most commonly used value for alpha is 0.01, 0.05, and 0.10. Okay, ibig sabihin, okay, for example, ang ginamit natin, 0.05 level of significance. So, ibig sabihin po nun, that implies there is a 5% chance that the null hypothesis would be rejected when it should be accepted. Okay, so meron tayong 5% chance na magkaroon tayo ng error. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng level of significance. Now, kung ibig sabihin nun, ng 5%, ng 0.05, meron tayong 5% chance na magkaroon ng error, ibig sabihin, we have 95% confident that we would make a correct decision. Okay, ibig sabihin, if we have, for example, kaya ang level of significance na given sa problem is at 0.01. So, ito, 0.01. Okay, kung yan ang given na level of significance, ano yung confidence level natin? Ang magiging confidence level po natin dyan is at 99%. So again, if meron naman tayong given na level of significance at 0.10, syempre ang magiging confidence level natin is at 90%. Okay, so that is how level of significance work. So other elements of hypothesis testing will be discussed in the next video. So these are the 7 steps dun sa ating hypothesis testing. So alam na po natin how to state the null and the alternative hypothesis. Alam na rin natin si level of significance. So the rest of the elements will be discussed, okay, in the next video. Okay, if you do have questions, do not hesitate to send us message. Okay, to send me a message about this lesson. And also, you can visit these references para magkaroon pa kayo ng mas malawak na knowledge about the central limit theorem and then the confidence level. Okay, thank you for watching the video.